Jimmy Johnson is a blues giant. He's a master.
Jimmy's energy and his love for playing gigs is very inspiring.
They say the mark of a great musician is that you can identify him or her in a single note. That's absolutely the case with Jimmy Johnson. Whether it's a guitar note or a vocal note, he always sounds exactly like Jimmy Johnson, which means great.
I think he's one of the great bluesmen that I've ever seen in terms of his guitar playing and his singing.
Sit around home alone on a rainy night like this. Starving for your love, all I need is one little kiss.
Jimmy was born in Holly Springs, Mississippi in 1928. When Jimmy moved to Chicago in 1950, his first day gig was working as a welder while he played guitar on the side.
It seems so loud and clear. You know the
Matthew Sam came to Chicago. I already knew some about guitar because Matt Murphy, me and him are from the same town, and he owned the guitar. So I knew how to hit a couple of bangs on the guitar, but I was not a guitar player. And Matthew Sam came to Chicago. He was about 14. He moved next door to me, and he had a guitar. He didn't have no strings. I bought him some strings. And about a week or two later, I saw him, and he could really play it. And by him playing and got so famous, I used to go with him, and I said, man, I can do this. So I decided to get me a guitar. My first guitar, I bought it from Billy Boy Arnold. I think it was a K. And I picked it up in January 1958, and July the 4th I had a gig, but I got fired on after the first day because I couldn't really play. But then I got another gig later on that fall with a guy named Slim Willis. We call him Harmonica Slim. And he told me, well, you don't play very well, but I tell you what, you got good potential. I'm gonna keep you. So I stayed with him for maybe a year, a little more, and I was learning how to play while I was with him. Alligator and Delmark, kind of, both of them wanted to do a record. So I was gonna do a record with Delmark, and Alligator said, well, just do this compilation with me and don't do your original songs. So they agreed to. That was okay, and I could still be with Delmark.
I believe I could see the tears.
In 1978, I set out to do a series of albums called Living Chicago Blues to feature the unrecorded or under-recorded artists in Chicago. Without a doubt, the very first one that I chose, who was the lead-off artist in the whole series, was Jimmy Johnson. He delivered just as I thought he would. He was totally professional, totally inspired, and the album was nominated for a Grammy. One of the big reasons was Jimmy's great performance. I'm very proud to be the label that introduced Jimmy Johnson to an American audience.
We had talked a lot about, what the record would be before we did it, which was probably less common at Delmark in those days, but we spent more time on the planning phase than would be usual, and one of the aspects of it was Jimmy's desire to do some original material, and I thought that was a great thing because in those days most blues records that were being made were recycling material that had been recorded many times before, and there wasn't a whole lot of new material coming out, and the idea of doing an album that was mostly new original material was a new thing. Whether it was going to sell or not was not the sort of thing that anyone at Delmark ever spent a whole lot of time worrying about. Guys like Jimmy just don't give up and never gave up, and partly it's because they love what they're doing. Performing, to be in front of all those people and to be energized by all those people is a significant part of what keeps him going.
I met Jimmy through my buddy Big Ray. He was playing drums with him at the time, and Chico Banks had just passed, and Jimmy needed somebody to play guitar with him, and Big Ray suggested me. I went out and played and did a gig with him, and after that, we kind of clicked, and he said he liked the way I played, and the rest is, in my eyes, history. The most important thing that I learned from Jimmy is give your all when you're on stage and be kind to your musicians and your audience, because, that's what people will remember most about you.
I met Jimmy Johnson in Chicago back in the early 80s when I first started playing guitar, and one of the first things he said to me was, "Hey, why don't you come over to my house and I'll show you a few things." That's the kind of guy that Jimmy is and always has been, just very kind and very encouraging to younger musicians. And I was blown away that an artist of his stature would invite me, a young kid in my early 20s, over to his house.
One of the main things, not the only, but always help, is be a kind person. And I've been kind all of my life. Not when I got old. When I was a kid, I was kind. It's just something was within me. And I was raised up the right way because my mama and my daddy, they didn't believe in nonsense. And that probably helped me. I see nonsense going down, but I always know I'm out here. I get away from that. And that's one of the main things. A lot of people miss that part. Don't be mean to somebody just because you can. Be kind. You see a bum on the street, if you got it, give him $1. But if you don't have to. But don't tell him, "Hey, get you a job. I ain't giving you nothing." No. You don't know why that person is there. He might want him another drink. You don't worry about that part. You did your part. Because circumstances could have put him there. That's the key.